Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? Listen, I am so excited to be here today with you guys. Cannot wait to get the show going. We have Kiki Kitty. Cannot wait for you guys to see her and just catch up. There's so much going on. Scott Nylund, Ericka Weise from Bolivia is all the way here. Carlton Jones as well. We have a special show for you guys. But first, we're going to make a cocktail. And you know what? Let's just get to it. All right. We are making today, the signature cocktail is the Fashion House, okay? Because why? It is Fashion Week, right? Starting September 11th here in New York. Is it starting? Is it not starting? What's happening? Is it canceled? You know, so much to talk about. But we're going to make the Fashion House. So you need strawberries, just 2 strawberries. You'll be cool. Orange juice. You need a Mandarin vodka and some soda, and you'll be fine. I'm actually going to grab my soda right now. And so we're going to start with the first thing. Muddle your strawberries, right? So you're just going to go ahead and muddle. And it is delicious, fresh. Right. Does anybody know Maya? You know how we do what? This is back in the 90s. Y'all ain't ready for today's show, I'm telling you. All right, so we muddle that strawberry. See that? Done, easy breezy. Then we're gonna go ahead and add 2 ounces of orange juice. In there. Then we are going to add 2 ounces of Mandarin vodka. In this case, we're using Absolute. Delicious. 2 ounces. And there, perfect. We're gonna throw in a couple of ice cubes in there. And then you're going to stir your drink. Stir the Fashion House. Guys, there's been so much controversy about fashion, what's happening, like fashion houses, what changes are they making? It's so much to talk about. Plus, we're also going to be talking about activism, which is amazing. So it's fashion and activism, the focus of our episode today. And I have these fabulous designers and fashion directors here with us today, so we can't wait. All right, guys, there it is. Delicious. All right, then you are going to, because you know, you already have your glass with ice. You can dump that. Then we're gonna have a nice round cube of ice, and we're just gonna put that right in the middle. And then we're going to fine strain this. And you know, those strawberries are going to come through, so that's why you're using the fine strain. And it is so delicious. Yeah, you just let it pour. And the beautiful part about the Fashion House is also, aside from the delicious taste, is the garnish, which is a beautiful orchid. So we put that little orchid right in there. And ladies and gentlemen, here you have your beautiful Fashion House beverage. I am going to taste that. Woo, this is delicious. Look who's playing, Destiny's Child. You see, the Beyonce, they're in the room, honey. They're about to be a part of that conversation that we're about to have. All right, guys, I'll see you shortly. What, 2 seconds? All right, see you there. Bye, salud. Buenas noches, mi gente. Good evening, my people. Welcome back to Conciencias Con Cocktail with me, Javier Pedroza. Listen, thank you everyone for tuning in today and every Thursday at 6 p.m. on Solivity.com, Solivity Latinx, also on Solivity Magazine channels on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitter. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube Live, feel free to drop some comments. And if any questions come up during the show, please let us know and we will try to answer them for you. Also, be sure to follow us on IG at Conciencias Con Cocktails. I am so happy. Listen, happy September 2020, guys. Is it? Which I have to say, what a different September it is this year for a lot of us, especially for the guests that we have on today. Normally, we would be attending or producing a runway show for Fashion Week, or also be planning, sketching, researching looks for upcoming award seasons. However, with COVID-19, the fashion industry has had some time to reflect, and some designers are finally voicing their frustrations with regards to the rigid, endless Fashion Week schedule, and agreeing that the situation, in fact, presented an opportunity to make fundamental changes. So I'm extremely happy and looking forward to get our conversation started today, because again, we have four incredible, accomplished folks ranging from fashion designers, illustrators, stylists, fashion directors, and who, by the way, are the brains behind the brands we all love, just saying. We'll get to learn a little bit about that. Wink. These Fab Four that I have today are here with us in a special two-part show where we're going to be discussing, again, Fashion Week, the fashion industry, and the different areas that represent the fashion industry. Also, how climate change plays a role day in and day out. So in part one, we are going to get to know our designers on a more personal level, right? Because I want people to be able to relate to our designers, to our inspirations, because they have worked their off to be where they're at today. And I think it's so important for people to be able to see each other, to see themselves day in and day out, especially, with us of people of color, and also our advocates. It's so important for people to be visible. So that's why I love the panelists that I have today. On part two, we're going to get more into the nitty gritty things. And we're going to be discussing, again, Fashion Week, climate change, just the climate with fashion, sustainable fashion, right? What fabrics we should be using, and also what these beautiful people are doing, tying in activism with fashion. So, which is, to me, go hand in hand with one, and the other. But before we get to this week, I like to quickly thank last week's guests, the fabulous duo Christina Carricka Haley and Kenneth Romero, for examining our monthly political news. Make sure to tune in on September 24th, the last Thursday of September, for our Carricka and Romero segment, where we break down the political news of the month. Also, last week, we had the pleasure of having two-time world salsa champion and actor, Mr. Jesus Aponte, who hung out with us at CO3 Lounge, and we had a great time dancing some salsa and him sharing some love, and it was just a great time. So thank you, everyone, for last week. So as I mentioned, on today's show, we have four guests that they all represent very different avenues within the fashion industry and represent different parts of the world. So again, I'm so excited about that, because you have to see yourselves. I fiercely believe that. And again, those who have accomplished success stories, I'm so happy for Conciencias to be able to provide this platform and shine a light on them, even though they don't need any light to shine, because they shine on their own. But we have fashion designers and creators, again, behind favorite brands like Miss Kianga Milele, also known as Kiki Kitty Doll. We also have, repping the beautiful country of Bolivia, a third generation fashion designer, Mrs. Ericka Suarez Weise. She is now married with a baby, so much to catch up. So today we're also joined by the bold, beautiful, and super strong Mr. Carlton Jones with his bold print and his colors, and he's just, wait till you see this man, he's everything. And also my brother from another mother and fashion director, designer, illustrator, and activist, because whoa, wait till you get to meet my brother. He is Mr. Scott Nylund, which you guys have probably heard me talk about him on past shows because we protest every Saturday as part of Street Riders NYC, which by the way, just is right 13 this Saturday. September 5th, we are meeting at 3:30, where? Flatbush Avenue and Empire Boulevard outside of Prospect Park. We are going to be departing at 4:30. The dress code is brown. So you got to come your brown shirt, brown shorts, brown everything. And then at the end of the ride, we're going to explain why they selected brown and the meaning behind wearing brown. So this is this Saturday. So again, I know I'll see Scott on Saturday. Like I've seen him every Saturday for the past, I don't even, you know what I mean? Our fifth guest today is our signature cocktail, the Fashion House. And look at this, guys. I mean, do you know what I mean? Look at this. So gorgeous. 2 parts tangerine vodka, 2 large muddled strawberries, 2 ounces of orange. You know what? I even forgot that this is supposed to have a splash of soda, because I don't really, like soda, but I'm going to go ahead and add it. So we're all on the same page. And that is a soda. And you know what? Salud, guys. I'm going to be drinking this a lot today. Sure. And the orchid, I mean, so beautiful. Thank you, little baby orchid. So again, you just put a mixing glass, muddled strawberries, combine it all with ice, add your orange juice and your vodka, stir, fine strain, and then you just top it with a club soda. So again, I love it. And also, before we move on, I would like to say 2 quick mentions, because here at CO3, we love all living beings. And so we want to send our condolences to our cousin, Ms. Vivian Molina, because her beautiful baby Waffles, who is a Pomeranian, has moved on to his next doggy life. And we know how attached we get to our fur babies since they are a part of our family. So Vivian, we're thinking of you. And, rest in peace, baby Waffles. He was such a little diva. We loved him. He was everything. So besitos to Waffle, and Vivian and the family, we're thinking about you. Also, my second quick mention is I am relieved to announce that the first ever transgender suicide hotline is now up and running in the US. So anyone can reach Trans Lifeline at 877-565-8860. I'm going to say it again, 877-565-8860. So any trans folks out there who are in need, feel free to dial that number. Blessings and please stay safe. So now, guys, we're going to be kicking off our spotlight story where we discuss the latest, most relevant trending news. And it is with extreme sadness that we say goodbye to the amazing human being and actor, Mr. Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016 and battled with it these last 4 years as it progressed to a stage 4. A true warrior, Chadwick persevered through it all, and he brought us so many films that we have come to love so much, from Marshall to The Five Bloods to the honor of his career where he played King T'Challa in Black Panther. His final tweet from the account of the star has become the most liked in Twitter history. It currently has more than 7 million likes as people pay tribute to a huge global inspiration. He passed in his home with his family and his wife by his side. Rest in peace and in power, King, and thank you for your legacy and your incredible contributions. Our spotlight story number 2 take us to Washington, D.C., where tens of thousands gathered last Friday on the 57th anniversary of the March of Washington. The Get Your Knee Off Our Necks rally was organized to protest systemic racism, and police brutality. Speakers included Jacob Blake Sr., whose son was shot 7 times in the back last week in Kenosha, Wisconsin. One of the youngest speakers was Martin Luther King Jr.'s 12-year-old granddaughter, Yolanda Renee King, who clearly stated, and I quote, "Less than a year before he was assassinated, my grandfather predicted this very moment. He said that we were moving into a new phase of the struggle. The first phase was the civil rights, and the new phase is genuine equality." So, what an amazing march, right, guys? It was so, I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. And thank you to everybody who showed up and showed their support and who continuously show their support, because this is not over. We are moving forward. Last but certainly not least on Spotlight, the Latina Madres are making pinky promises. This election, Latina mothers are coming together to fight climate change and create a better future for their children. Check out Ms. Jennifer Lopez explaining what vote like a mother, una madre, means.
Jennifer, what is Vote Like a Madre?
Vote Like a Madre is a campaign focused on Latino mothers, tías, abuelas, and we basically are pinky promising our children that this November we will vote for leaders with bold plans to fight climate change. In November, when we vote, we will be voting with our children's futures in mind. You know, you might not like politics, but guess what? If we don't act now, our kids aren't going to like having to stay inside all summer because it's too hot to play outside or have clean air to breathe. If we don't do something now, our kids will be the ones forced to clean up our mess.
Okay, why are you voting like a madre this November?
Everybody who knows me, I think, knows this, that my kids are my world. And like any mother, I want the best for them. But a huge threat to their future is climate change. And this November, we need to elect leaders who are going to fight to stop climate change so we can save our planet for our future generations. The pressure is on. Ladies, I am urging you to make a promise to your kids that this November, that you'll never break. A pinky promise that this November you'll vote with their future in mind.
What can the folks watching you and I talking right now do to vote like a madre?
Okay, voting like a madre is simple. All you need to do is take a picture or video of your pinky promise that this November you'll vote to protect your children's future. Have fun with it. You know, decorate your pinky, then post it. I'm going to wear a lot of rings, I think. Then post it to social media with the hashtag Vote Like a Madre. And challenge your friends to do the same and make a plan to go vote in November. This election is the most consequential election of our lifetime. Text Madre, capital MADRE, to 52886 to pledge to vote like a madre.
Thank you, Ms. J-Lo and Lin-Manuel for that explanation, and the folks at Vote Like a Madre for creating such an important movement, because if we don't drastically reduce the air pollution causing climate change, our kids, nieces, and nephews will miss out on the things we love most about our world. For more information, go to votelikeamadre.com. All right, guys, everyone, that wraps us our Spotlight Stories. And you know what? It makes me so happy to know that Latina mothers are utilizing their voting power and taking control, because we seriously have to tackle climate change from every single angle. All right, folks, we are going to get started with our conversations today. And I like to start by introducing our first guest. She is a creative director. She's a fashion designer. Her name's Kiki Kitty starts, and you know what? She started this 2020 by stepping into the spotlight after 27 years of orchestrating from behind the scene of your favorite major brands. Kiki teams up with global cast of top-notch designers in Netflix fashion competition series, Next in Fashion. Let's take a look. Miss Kiki, the grand dame of streetwear. Listen, her career took off in the 90s when launching the first multi-million-dollar women's urban brand, FUBU Ladies. Yeah, remember For Us, By Us? That was her. So over the years, Kiki has also created groundbreaking collection and creative projects for Sean Combs, Justin Timberlake, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, I mean, what you want, Rihanna, Tommy Hilfiger, which I worked for. So many different crazy days. Can't wait for you guys to meet her. Everybody, welcome to Conciencias Con Cocktail, Miss Kiki Kitty.
Hey, y'all.
Hi. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am great. What are you drinking over there this Thursday afternoon?
Well, I mixed a little something together. I got a little of this from the bodega.
Hey.
And I use that instead of ice. And then I do a little whiskey together.
Hey.
And speaking of, this was like, I don't know, like a Black person started, I'm gonna mess it up. Started one of these liquor brands and never got the credit. And then they started their own.
We'll find out who that is and we'll put in that credit over there. Salud, honey. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, and thank you so much for being with us because I know you are busy. And like I told everyone, we're going to get to know a little bit of Kiki, before we get into the fashion talk and all of that jazz. I want to know for our audience, tell us about Kiki. Where is Kiki from? How did Kiki come to New York?
Well, I'm just a little brown girl from Atlanta. I was born in New York, but I was raised in Atlanta. And I came to New York to go to FIT and I just never left. I just loved everything. Started, New York in the 90s was kind of crazy. Everything was happening in fashion and music. Like it was just really an amazing time to be in New York. So I was just saying yes to everything, and I was everywhere all the time doing everything. I don't know. I was just all over the place. And
you have some island background in you, right? Aren't you feeling like
my family is from Barbados?
Yes. I love Barbados.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And tell us, in terms of fashion, what were your sources? Again, I know that you were in Atlanta. You come from, your roots are Barbados. You're now in New York. You have taken us through so many journeys from urban to resort luxury wear. How did you say fashion is what I want to do and this is where I'm going?
I didn't even know. Like back then, fashion wasn't like a thing. I didn't know it as to be a career. And my fifth grade teacher told me about it because I was, my mom taught us how to sew. You know how island families are. Everybody, if you're from an island, not even from Africa, like they sew, like large families, the mother sews. And so she taught us how to sew, and I was making things to go to school, and art was my first love, and I just like to draw people, and then I started drawing people wearing things, and then I started making the things that they were wearing. And then my fifth grade teacher was like, there's a thing called fashion design. I was like, shut your mouth. So I've been on the path ever since. So. Wow,
thank you for our fifth grade teacher for pointing you in the right direction. Tell us a little bit about,
because of me.
Say that again.
Like she even started a fashion program in the junior high because of me.
Aww. What's her name?
I know it, but it's not.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna throw her name. Okay, the whiskey's already what? Hey, tell us about Next in Fashion. I mean, that was quite the experience for you. Tell us how it was tan. I tell you, I watched your episode and I'm all caught up, and I was literally like in tears.
I couldn't watch it without being into, like, I was like I was back there again.
How was the experience working with the amazing designers that you were there with?
Oh my God, that's what was really exciting to me. I just was, I'm working here by myself, you know, up in the Kitty Cove and creating and everything. And I don't really have, being an entrepreneur, I don't have that team. I don't have all those things around me like I had for so many years. So the opportunity to work with so many great designers was really exciting to me, because I was just needing a challenge. And I just felt like, you know, this was something that could really just kind of push me. And I just wanted that, you know, a challenge like that. So you always want to, you know, be surrounded by people who are going to push you to really like bring your best. So, and they really did. They were really awesome.
Absolutely. And you know, it's so funny because it's so crazy how small the world is, because everybody knows Kiki. Like two of our guests today, as soon as I was like, Kiki is on, they were like, what?
I know Kiki. Don't listen to anything they said. Vicious rumors. I don't know what.
Thank you again. Listen, how has COVID impacted you? You know, these past couple of months, I know it's crazy again. We're in New York, you know, spending so much time alone.
You know, I think it was especially crazy for me because the show had just aired like around February, somewhere in February. And I had a lot of things that were kind of like cooking that were kind of like waiting for the show to air. And then it's like, okay. And we were kind of in the mix, like right when COVID hit. So it put a lot of things on pause. So, you know, in a way it sucked. In the beginning, it was like, damn it. But now it's kind of like, I feel like a lot of people are kind of that way. It's just like, you know, the realization of the gift of pausing.
Right.
So, yeah, which I never get to do.
Yeah, and I think for us creatives, it's such an amazing time because we have been able to pause and really focus our energies into projects that, you know, we've been wanting to do, like Conciencias Con Cocktails, like, you know, all these different things. I've worked so tirelessly with all of my beautiful networks in assisting different people, and especially, you know, creating platforms and spaces. And due to the pandemic, I've been able to just put my energy in here and create this. So again, I can't wait. I'm so happy that you're here. I can't wait for everybody to see you on part 2 when we get into the nitty gritty of our fashion. Right now, I want you to go hang out with our other guests at our CO3 Lounge when, you know, get to know them, because, you know, as you know, Miss Ericka from Bolivia, you guys, some gorgeous collaboration. Something needs to happen there. So I'll see you in a minute, okay? Besitos.
Yes.
All right, guys. I love me some Kiki. So, she's such a breath of fresh air. My God, and we so needed that. I want to say go to our next guest, who is the fantastic Mr. Carlton Jones, who began his career as a stylist and began receiving recognition when he began to transform the image of hard rapper is Queen Latifah, who we all love and adore, into this beautiful songstress we know today. Almost 2 decades later, after serving as a fashion director, style correspondent, image consultant, again, wardrobe designer, he does it all. Mr. Carlton is no joke. He began to combine his love for style, traveling, and fashion, and creating his own resort-inspired fashion house called the Carlton Collection. And we love, love, love. We've used so many of his beautiful designs on my clients, and everybody loves, once they put on a Carlton Jones, they're like, I need to have it. Hey, you know what? The great thing about him is that he has such an amazing experience dressing celebrities ranging from Ericka Badu to Halle Berry to Jill Scott, the First Lady Michelle Obama. Hello. love Michelle every day, all day. And one of the things that I love about Carlton is that his motto is resort isn't a destination, it's a feeling. So I love that. I completely understand that coming from the island. Guys, welcome to CO3, Mr. Carlton Jones. Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? Welcome to CO3, Carlton. How are you today?
I'm excellent. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, thank you for being here. Again, I know that you are busy and you are doing you are reacting to COVID so amazingly, like we just spoke about. Tell us first of all, what are you drinking, Mr. Carlton?
Well, I put together this little combination of kettle peach blossom with ginger beer and mint from my garden.
Oh, right. You know what? Salute to that.
Cheers.
That is delicious. I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna have to call that the Carlton.
Bring it on.
So how are you? You know, I was just speaking to Kiki, which you know, and she, you know, she reminds me so much. I love her style. I love how true she is to all of her style. And her resort wear is gorgeous. As you know, your resort wear is absolutely stunning. Tell us a little bit about, you know, Carlton. I know that, you know, your ancestry is a strong Cuban Native American ancestry. And, you know, you grew up in North Carolina. Talk to us a little bit about Carlton, the younger years.
Well, interestingly, like for most of my life, all I knew of my heritage was African American and Native American. And it actually took my mom starting to research and dig and really look into our past to find out that some of what we thought was Native American was actually Cuban American.
Wow.
And that stems from my great-grandmother, who I have with me everywhere. Look at her, strong
Beautiful.
Cuban Native, yeah, really great piece. And I wanted to find out more about her, and thanks to my mother, I now know that Aaliyah, who later became Alice, had, you know, Cuban and Native roots, and that's where my Caribbean heritage comes into play much later in life, because, you know, I always felt like that was a part of me.
Wow, that is so interesting. I could imagine when you found out, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Did you start learning Spanish right away?
Sí, claro.
Yes, I love it. Listen, I know that you began your career as a stylist. Everybody, you know, we've collaborated with a lot of, you know, our celebrities, and even in events that we've done together. So what made you do the transition from that stylist to full-time fashion designer?
You know what? As a stylist, I was always making garments and special pieces for my clients. Like I've always drawn and clothes, and always had an interest in it. And I would make, you know, garments for special occasions. At the same time, I was also collaborating and consulting a lot of designers in the Caribbean. I took the first team of stylists to Kingston, Jamaica in 2000 for the very first Caribbean Fashion Week, when it had never been done. And so I developed quite a network of designers there who wanted to break into the market here, as well as stores here that were interested in talent there. So I was back and forth consulting them. I picked up some private clients that I would shop for here and bring clothing. You know, they wanted metropolitan, well-made clothing that they couldn't find on the islands, but that worked to that island's aesthetic. And it was several things happened, but one day in particular, I was selling a client this Michael Kors caftan. And it was like a $1,800 caftan, which was literally a square with a cool print. And I was like, I could do that.
And better.
Okay. Well, I didn't say that, but I will say it was considerably more work than I ever imagined it would be, but it's been a joyful journey, and I would never change it.
And what gives you like the satisfaction, right? Like once you like, because we know behind the scenes when we're trying to get the job done, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. And then we finish the show, and then we like breathe. The client is on the red carpet, or the runway is done. what is that feeling that you look for in your projects when you do them? Because I know you're so passionate about each project that you do.
It's interesting because, as a designer, you're much more attached to the clothing than as a stylist. We can do whatever we need to do to zhuzh it up and make it look good for a picture, pin it up, make it look great for, the night. As a designer, it takes, for me, I'm happy with a really great fit. And so I'm much more invested in what I'm doing, and also the whole lifespan of what I'm creating. Like, you can make something fantastic, but if it's only going to last, a few washings, then, you're only as good as, much like styling your last project. So I want people to be really happy with what they get from me, and for the quality of what I'm doing to stand out, and for it to be something that has longevity.
Yeah, you know what? I want to ask you because I know for sure there's 2 babies that are watching right now who are going into the fashion industry. What would be that advice that you would give our young ones coming up in the game?
Wow, the young ones. Well, first of all, to be really clear that this is something you're really passionate and really want to do. Much like styling, when it became a fad and it seems like it's glamorous, I've called this a very expensive hobby for many years before it turned into a real business. And one thing that COVID has helped me do in my time off is actually recreate and solidify the foundation of my business that wasn't there from the beginning. I started making clothes, I started selling clothes, and I ran with it. Got a logo, got a website, and and just kind of went from there. But there really is some valid work that needs to be done with finding who you're speaking to, who your market is, and really educating yourself on what you're trying to do before you. I mean, not necessarily before, but as you're falling into that passion that makes you want to do it. So it's a business. Fashion is a business. It's fun, but to be lucrative and to be sustainable, you have to think like a CEO if you're running your brand. So that's my advice.
Absolutely. And as creatives, we get lost in the creative process, and we don't want to deal with the business process because it's too much and it's too many numbers and it's too many emails. So listen, if you can't afford it, you better learn how to do it. And if you can afford it, then hire someone who is going to keep up with that side of the business. Again, I know that we're going to be talking more later, Carlton, and we're going to talk about activism in fashion, which I know that you are working on an incredible project that we're going to be talking about. Again, another example of how creative folks stay on top of their game, even through a pandemic. This is not the first pandemic for us. It's not the first, time that we go around this. So go hang out with Kiki and Ericka at our CO3 lounge. Get a little toe out. And then we are going to go on and meet Scott. All right. So make sure you leave your video on so you can check out the whole show. And then we're going to be, again, I'll see you later, where we're going to be digging deeper into fashion, climate change, environmental, all of these topics that we do have to talk about. Okay, so besitos, and I'll see you in a little bit. All right.
Ciao.
All right, Carlton. All right, guys. That was so good. We love Mr. Carlton Jones. So such a talented being. But on top of that, one of the sweetest human beings that you will ever know. And everybody that knows him, whether it's in fashion or not, will agree that he is one of the sweetest souls you'll ever meet. So next we have Mr. Scott Nylund, who is an accomplished design director, fashion designer, again, an incredible illustrator and activist who is living here in New York City. He has worked for reputable brands such as Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger. He is all up in this show today. And actually that's where Scotty and I met back like 2 years ago. And it's been a nonstop amazing ride. In the 10 years that Scott was a design director for Beyonce, right? He worked for Jennifer Lopez. He worked for all the, and then he got a call from Beyonce Knowles, and he, again, the brand, House of Darion, Miss Tina, he has built such a reputation for himself, creating beautiful couture clothing from, Beyonce and other celebrities to wear on the red carpet events, such as the Oscars, the Fashion Rock Awards, the SAG Awards, the Latin Billboards. He is everything. So he's doing it all right? So guys, say hello to Mr. Scott Nylund. Hey, Scotty, what's going on?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing? Thank you for having me, Javi.
Oh my God, it's so my pleasure, and the perfect timing. What are you drinking over there, Scotty?
I'm not much of a drinker, but I got some cranberry juice here, and
we're all for it.
So yeah, thank you. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, cheers. And you know what? We love a mocktail. We love a regular.
Thank you for having me today.
Everything is amazing. I want to let everybody know that, we have known each other for a minute, and we have done amazing projects, but I want people to get to know a little bit about you. So tell everyone a little bit where Scott Nylund is from and how did you get to New York?
Cool. All right, well, I am originally from Owatonna, Minnesota. My family, about 7-8 generations back, came from Norway and Germany. And colonized the United States in the Midwest in Minnesota. I grew up loving art, sketching, doing illustrations, and much like Kiki's story, I was just doing it instinctually. Like, they didn't have Project Runway back then, so I was just sketching women and dressing them. And it wasn't until college that a professor of mine basically was like, you know what you're doing? You're doing fashion illustration here. And he showed me some pamphlets for Parsons and FIT, which I'd never even thought to come out here. And that planted the seed, and my parents were really receptive of it. So I finished school at Luther College out there with a degree in art and art education, and came out here to study at FIT and did the associate's program. And then from there, worked as a intern for the couture company called Ericka Martinez, and just a short term because they didn't stay open that long. And then went from there to Ralph Lauren, and then from there to Tommy Hilfiger, where I met you. And then I got a call from a woman that helped out with J-Lo by Jennifer Lopez. Her name's Heather Thompson Schindler, and she brought me over to do illustrations. So basically, I became the illustrator for J-Lo, and that was for a few seasons until Heather went over to Beyond Productions, which is Beyonce's company, and facilitated an introduction with me and Miss Tina, Beyonce's mom. And the rest is history. That started a 10-year relationship with that family and those brands, and one that I'm forever grateful for. It was a life-changing experience being a part of that family. So, and then that ended in 2014. And from there, I have been just trying to figure out what I'm doing. I went down to the rainforest in South America, been paying attention to what's happening in this country. I don't really feel like it's time for another designer to come out with a clothing brand. So I've been mostly just paying attention to the climate here and trying to figure out what I can do to contribute, which led me to Patagonia, a company that I started helping out with before coronavirus came, and then we got furloughed. So now we're here.
Right, and you also became a professor at teaching at Parsons New School also before COVID as well, right?
Yeah. I taught 2 semesters at Parsons, and I had done mentoring at FIT for like 3 years, I was the professional critic for their Critics' Choice Award. So I've worked with both of the schools since graduating at FIT, and those are really rewarding experiences too. If you like working in academia and with a college university, it wasn't my speed, but it was a good experience. So
And I know the trip you're speaking of in 2014, you know, such a Mother Earth trip right at the Amazon rainforest across Ecuador and Peru. And I know that you are tied with the indigenous folks of these countries. Tell us a little bit about what impacted you to say, oh my God, I love doing this kind of fashion, you know, a lot of activism, because you and I also, for those who don't know, Scott was the designer of the Shakira Barrera SAG Award gown that we created for her, because she wanted to make a political statement at the SAG Awards to Nicaragua. And so I knew exactly who to call when we decided that's what we were doing. So what said to you, you know what? Mother Earth is the way, indigenous folks, I'm here to help.
I think that's a good question. I think it started while I was still working for Beyond Productions with the Knowleses. Like, I would have to go over to China. I wouldn't have to, that's where our factories were. So I went over there a couple of times a year, spent 2-3 weeks in China working with the factories over there. And when you see the amount of clothing that goes through these places, and when you see the amount of excessive fabric that just never even gets touched and it's just left in these factories and fabric mills, like rows, football fields long of production machines and washing machines and chemical mixers that dye your clothes. And it was overwhelming, but like I wasn't in a place of like knowledge back then to really realize what was happening. Right. So after a few years, it became apparent to me that we need to change. The fashion industry is broken, and we need to somehow figure out how to fix it. And that became kind of more of my thought process. South America, it became real when I saw how we're affecting the indigenous cultures down there. Like, I was ignorant in thinking that there's just a few different communities. There's over 420 different indigenous communities of the Amazon. And that those are like communities that don't need us. They don't need our clothes. They don't need our electricity. They don't need anything. But because of our consumerism and our capitalism, these people are being displaced. So that kind of put everything into perspective. So then, if I want to go back into fashion industry, what am I going to do that's different from this whole consumer-minded idea of, you know, putting out as much product as possible? But that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, you know, and everything you do it with love, Scotty. And like I said, you're always usually helping an indigenous-led organization, you know, again, that benefit women in the Amazon and their families. So thank you, Scotty. I want us to now you go hang out with these guys, have your cranberry juice and catch up. Because again, I know you know me. You worked with Kiki before, you know, Carlton, and now we're gonna get to Miss Ericka Weise. So we're taking a plane. We're going to Bolivia right now, but I'll see you later. And again, we're going to be talking about all of the subjects that you just discussed, which thank you for bringing that up, because we're definitely going to be hopping on that on part 2. So I'll see you in a minute. All right, Scotty?
All righty, see you there.
All right. So guys, thank you so much again. Oh my God, I love these guys so much. They teach me day in and day out. And this is the kind of people you should have around you, you know? So again, thank you, Kiki. Thank you, Carlton. Thank you, Scotty, for a fabulous first part of our show. Next, we have our CO3 Lounge. And again, today, I'm so excited to bring Miss Ericka Weise live from all the way from Bolivia. And she is, oh my God, another kind soul. I'm just kind of putting everything together. You guys are so kind. Everybody on this show is such a beautiful soul. I've met Ericka a few years back. And since then, we've been able to create some gorgeous magic. We have been able to create history, making moments, which we will all be talking about. But you know what? Before that, we're going to take a quick break, refill your cocktails, and we'll see you guys in a few. All right? With Miss Ericka Suarez Weise. See you soon.
Watch Ask for Candy with Candace Harper every Wednesday at 7 p.m. If I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Solidity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
All right, guys, welcome back. And you know what? We're just going to jump right into it. Everyone, welcome to CO3 Lounge, Mrs. Ericka Suarez Weise. Hola.
Hi, thank you for having me here. And I'm so excited to be with you guys and know your stories. And thank you again.
Thank you for being here with us, Ericka. Again, everybody, she is all the way from South America. And I thought it was so important to bring in a voice from South America to talk to us about fashion, to talk to us about COVID, to talk to us about her reality, because her reality is a different reality than a reality in New York or a reality in the islands or in Europe. It's very different experiences. So I definitely wanted to bring my little sister because she is everything. I mean, this woman, what she can do with her hands and her team of seamstress is incredible. So you guys know Ericka is third generation fashion designer. Her mother was a fashion designer and her grandmother was a fashion designer. Tell us a little bit about that, Ericka, because you know I love your mom so much and your grandmother. Tell us a little bit about what it means to be a third generation fashion designer.
Well, I practically grew up behind my mother's machine and table. So I was always around fashion. I was always around seamstress and fabrics and everything that is our fashion world. So it was a natural consequence, I think, to be here now. And 10 years later, I founded my brand Weise, because it's you pronounce Weise, but it's Weise in Alemán, in German.
Yes.
And in Spanish, they say Weise, so whatever you want to call it.
Exactly.
I have been working 10 years now. And for that, I know Javier, and it's been a great journey to be working with you, Javier, and you made history in Bolivia, putting me into the red carpets moment. So I'm really emotional now because this has been a great history between you and me.
Yes, it is. It is. And you know what, guys? I always try to create a platform so that where we connect, right? All of us connect. And because Ericka and I have a friend in common, she reached out to me and said, Javier, I know this amazing designer who's in Bolivia and and she wants to come to the US and do her thing. And I was like, all right, show me her stuff. And when she showed me, I was like, oh my God, like this young woman is like the next Carolina Herrera, like, you know, so we've been able to create such couture dresses. And when she's talking about history making moments, you know, she is the first and only Bolivian to show her gowns on the red carpets in Hollywood. So far, she has the SAG Awards, and so far she has the Grammys, where we styled Tia Fuller, who actually is also from the Beyonce band. So much Beyonce energy up in here today. But we created these beautiful moments. And again, it was history making. The newspapers in Bolivia went crazy around the world. And what I love about the truth of Ericka is that she is such a guardian of her culture and her tradition, and she implements, she puts all of those beautiful pieces that define the Bolivian woman and culture into her designs. And I think that's what really sets her apart from other folks. And I like Carlton with his bold prints and his bright colors, and the streetwear from Kiki, and her luxury resort wear as well. You can tell that those pieces come from these guys and from their hearts and their souls. So again, thank you. The only thing I did, Ericka, was say hello, and you did the rest. So you have created history, and I'm just so happy to be a little tiny part in what all that magic means. But tell us, COVID in South America, again, a very different picture. How are things in Bolivia?
Well, just 2 weeks ago, we started working again. So we've been a little bit paralyzed. My atelier was closed at all. We haven't had transportation. So my people is just these 2 weeks ago coming to work here, and we are rescheduling everything, my collection and everything, because safe is first. And everything goes naturalmente se va a acomodar. How do you say that?
Naturally, everything is going to get itself back together.
Sorry for my English.
No, this is a multi-language space. So you can speak whatever language, and if I know it, we will translate it.
So COVID here has been a little bit more complicated maybe than in big countries like USA. We don't have the same structures in for hospitals, or everything we need to
battle COVID,
battle this pandemic. So here we are. For the moment, we are all safe, and so this is good, and we are thanking God for that. And now we're working again with all the power and all the passion that we stopped in February, in March.
Right, absolutely. So you know what, guys? Right now, Ericka is going to give us a little tour of her atelier, where she's going to show us these gorgeous gowns that we're talking about that are history making. So go ahead, Miss Ericka, take us away.
Okay, so my atelier is a little bit messy because we are trying to put this for you now, but these are the gowns that Selenis wore in the SAG Awards. So they're like my trophies now.
So for you guys, Selenis Leiva is one of the stars of Orange is the New Black. She is one of the Afro-Latinas repping the show, one of the most incredible actors actually on that show, and actually in the Latina world. She is a badass, and we knew that we wanted to get those gorgeous curves of Afro-Cuban Dominican woman into that, and that's what we created there. Tell us a little bit about the beading. Show everybody a little closer the beading work.
Okay, so we work with the shape of Selenis. Remember, we wanted to embrace all the woman in power. So the forms and the crystals are drawing the figure. There. Okay, sorry for
yeah, no, we see that.
And we have all crystals, embroidery,
and they're all hand
embroidery.
Embroidery.
Yes, and we have the texture that is my signature texture that I work with mesh, and we try to make this amazing tail.
Yeah, look at that. Show it closer, Ericka, so they can really see that detail of what you do. Look at this is something that she's created in her atelier, and it is absolutely stunning. And again, you can't find it anywhere else but in her atelier. And then you should show them the black one that we created for her, because it also has her signature on the train. Show that black one behind there.
Okay, so we have also this big tail with a lot of texture. I don't know if I'm showing right way.
Yeah. Yep, you're good.
And then this is my other signature dress. Do you remember the orchid one that Shakira Barrera wore at the SAG Awards pre-party? So
yes. Yeah, she wore that for the Entertainment Weekly party. Shakira is one of the stars of Glow, and she's also from Nicaraguan descent. And that was so beautiful on her. And I know that we have some videos of the ladies wearing these dresses, and we'll show that as well.
So this is a little bit of my 2012 collection, and it was inspired in Bali in the balconies of Weise. So this is my signature texture that I started that year.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
And well, this is my showroom, and this was my last collection inspired in an Aba Guarani, indigenous people from here, from the east of Bolivia. So we're working with this amazing silk ribbon, and we are making this texture and fabric manipulation that is now a signature for my brand too.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, I know that Carlton and Kiki and Scott are back at the CO3 Lounge. Like, what? We about to do some collaborations, clapping and stuff. But we all knew you are one talented designer, my love. And you know what? We can't wait. Thank you so much for being here with us, CO3 Lounge. We're going to wrap up part 1, and then we're going to come back for part 2. For everybody out there, September 10th, Thursday, we are going to be showing part 2 of this incredible interview. And in part 2, we're going to have all of our fashion designers come with us. And we are going to talk, again, fashion, climate, what are we doing next? What do we want the fashion world to look like in the future? All of that good stuff. So Eriquita, besitos. And everybody has to stay till the next part 2, because that's how you're going to get everybody's social media handle, so you can follow everybody. So listen, guys, I want to say again, salud. Salud, salud, salud. I'm going to take a sip because it's rude. Again, thank you so much for our guests, Carlton, Scott, Ericka, and Kiki, for a super successful part 1, and for using your brains, your voices, not only to create and educate and entertain the world, but also to create social change. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. Stay tuned, everybody. Again, please wear a mask, and remember to stay curious, be gorgeous, y amable. Ciao, folks. I'll see you next week.
Solivity Magazine brings you the best in inspiration on Solivity TV. Check out our new shows. Mark your calendars for Solivity Magazine shows by going to solivity.com now.